Welcome to School Life Unpacked, the podcast for anyone navigating the complexities of their child's education. Join me, Natasha Curtis-Ego, and a lineup of insightful guests as we explore the challenges, joys, and surprises of school life, offering support and tips to help us feel more confident and connected. Today we have two very special guests with us who are going to talk about stage of development in your child's life that sometimes we, as new parents, overlook or aren't as aware of as we possibly should be. So today, if you'd like to introduce yourself, ladies, that would be lovely.
Hello, I'm Jo Lee and I've worked for Bookstart for 24 years now through Southend Libraries.
Hi, I'm Beverley Bevington and I've worked as a Bookstart coordinator now for 5 years.
Oh, wow. So
we're a job share.
Okay, so yeah. What is Bookstart, and if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about that?
Give you a little bit about the background,
yes,
how it started.
Oh, that would be lovely.
So basically, it started in 1992 as a pilot project in Birmingham, set up by a fantastic children's author called Wendy Cooling. And she worked along with Birmingham University and local libraries and health services. And basically, the pilot followed over 300 babies over the course of the first few years of their lives. So the research that she did showed that children exposed to books from birth, from a very, very early age, had a far greater advantage at school, not only in their literacy, but also in their numeracy. So the project developed from there, and in 1999, with funding from Sainsbury's, Bookstart became the world's first national book gifting programme.
Oh,
so it's quite amazing actually. So, and to this day, so we gift books, resources, and provide activities for children, different stages of their lives.
Yeah.
So it's grown over quite a lot of years, and I've been a part of it since 1999. So.
Oh wow, so you've watched the development of it grow and how exciting and how it impacts our local community.
Yes, yeah.
And we're fortunate enough to be able to provide resources to family with children with additional needs as well, and also children who come from families where they have English as an additional language. So we gift dual language books and we ensure that they're available to families as well.
Oh, that's really exciting with the dual nationality and dual language. So is that a newer thing, or is that slightly...
It's been going on quite a few years now, the dual language, but we've got more languages available to us now. We used to have a handful, but now we have over 30 different languages so we can provide. And that's changing all the time. So the providers of those books are certain book publishers, and depending on who Book Trust are working with, we get different varieties of books from all different ages. So
we kind of look at the community and we see which languages are the most prevalent at the time, and then we order accordingly. And it's lovely.
Exciting. We've just put it in a big order. Just put in a big order.
So what I would like to talk about is something that's close to my heart, which is your story rhyme sessions. Because I remember when I first had my daughter, and everybody saying, talk to her, sing to her, and me looking and thinking, but she's so little, so I'm sure she has no idea what's going on. And then I saw a leaflet, I dragged my friend Sarah along, and then we started coming and we were introduced to story rhymes, which I would love for you to elaborate on, please.
Okay, so story rhymes began over 20 years ago. So long before you started,
long before.
So it started with one session a week, run by Bookstart staff at our main library in Southend, just once a week. And today we have 12 sessions a week across all our libraries, and one relaxed session at Westcliff Library a month. And the majority of today's sessions are run by our team of 15 volunteers. So it's really grown over that time, from us just running once a week. To provide something every day at every library is fantastic.
So what does a session involve? You know, if you were a new mum, what does it involve? What do you come along and join into?
You'll be welcomed by one of our volunteers. It's a half an hour session, so we keep it quite short for the attention span of the little ones. Then it involves, we have rhymes, nursery rhymes, traditional rhymes. We have songs and action songs, and then the focus being on the story as well. We choose books we try to keep them diverse. We keep them bold pictures, and then obviously the language that comes with reading the story. So there's a short book. And then we have different activities like sleeping bunnies and that as well. And it just gives opportunity for you to engage with your child for that half an hour and to focus really on them. So,
Okay, so with the session, do you find that you have people who come, well, I know I was a mum who came every week religiously, but do you find that, and because of that, do you see your children grow and learn?
We do, and we get to see that, which is so lovely. So some of the families that I've seen, because obviously I've been in it a lot longer, I've seen those children from a few weeks old all the way through to going through to school, and then even some of them as teenagers now. We bump into them in the street and they're now teenagers, and they came and they've got their own little siblings who are coming, and the parents have seen the benefits for those older children, so they're bringing their second, their third child, and it just keeps us engaged with the families as well. So I'm actually friendly on Facebook actually with quite a few of those families, just to follow them through and just see. I mean, they've left Story Rhymes quite a long time ago now, but just to see what the children are up to. It's lovely to have those links with the families,
isn't it? Yeah. Because if you see them out on the street or you see them in the shops, and
they get so excited,
recognise them. So there's definitely that continuity of for the community.
It's lovely.
What would you say are the benefits of it to encourage new mums or expectant mums? What are the benefits of coming to the session?
Well, we just try to explain to them what they will get from the session. So we explain to them how important it is to run the things from, or speak to the children and sing the nursery rhymes and all the language and that from birth, basically. So as early as possible. Just for example, there was a little boy many years ago. I had a young mum come with me, and she had a six-week-old baby, and she wasn't quite sure what to do with the baby. So we were singing Grand Old Duke of York, and I got her to tap on his feet while we were singing to the Grand Old Duke of York. So she did that religiously, did what I told her. And then she came back the next week. She'd enjoyed it. She came back the next week and we did it again. The other children are marching, so she starts tapping. The third week we came, so he was 9 weeks old. I started singing and his little legs were going, so he knew what was coming. So she saw that there's a reaction.
Yep.
And she used to become a regular, and then she brought her second child to us. So I often tell parents a story like that, because it just sort of makes them understand that there is sort of hope from very young, very early on, and you don't have to be 3 or 4 before you can come and start singing nursery rhymes. The children will benefit from day one, basically.
And I think it's also important for the parents as well. You can become quite isolated when you have your child, especially if it's a firstborn.
Very true.
Some families, they find that they just stick to themselves, and it's just an opportunity to come meet other families and parents and who are in the same position as you.
And often families who are coming from other countries as well, who just come into the country and they meet up. We sort of can sometimes put them in touch with other families who speak their language. It's just a really nice, you get little communities coming into the sessions, don't you?
And hearing those rhymes every week, it gives you something to do to take home. So some parents may not know the rhymes. We take it for granted that everyone knows Humpty Dumpty and all the songs, and there's some parents that don't, and they've never been around children. Perhaps it's their first child and they don't really know what to sing to them at home. So we give them those songs that they can then do the peekaboos and the round and round the garden and tickling for that bonding that they can take home. So
it's like you're almost giving them permission to spend some time relaxing with their child.
That's really good.
You do, because a lot of people feel like they've got to be go around the house cleaning, doing this, doing that, but to sit down and actually either look at a book with a child for a few minutes, just to actually relax and spend that bonding time. You don't have to be on the go all the time. So I think when they come to Story Rhymes, they then have got that to take away. They then do that at home. It becomes part of their everyday routine. So
and being in the library, I think, is important as well. It's coming in, being around the books, have the opportunity then to borrow the books that you see, learn about good books to read to your child. Not that there are any bad books, but they're the correct books to be sort of along with their development as well. Absolutely. They can see what we read to the children, and they'll go, oh, that's a great picture book, or that's a great board book. And we're there to help them with that as well, for borrowing books at the library. So
I found that it gave a confidence to be able to read the story, do the voices, and realize that, yes, your baby may not be at first sure, but you watch them grow and they start responding, and you get this kind of, like you said, a permission to be silly and to have fun, that sometimes when you're on your own, you feel like this is very strange. This little person who essentially is a stranger that you're getting to know. But that it really does encourage the bonding. So I personally really benefited from it, and I found it was really fun. And I still have a favourite song that I occasionally still sing to them in the bath, even though they're much older now. So that's quite fun. Would you say, where would you like Story Rhymes to progress to? Because I know it's just one session a week, which I'm sure for you and your volunteers seems a lot, but maybe where would it go in the future if you could have that freedom to develop it.
Oh, to have freedom would be lovely, and to have staff would be lovely to develop
we
it
rely on
further.
our volunteers. We are.
We're very much reliant on the volunteers, aren't we?
And the time that they give to us, which we appreciate so much.
We've tried changing times. We've been asked for doing afternoon sessions instead of morning sessions. We've tried and it doesn't work. Sometimes, it's all a case of trying out what we can. I mean, to have more sessions a week would be lovely, but it is a case of finding the volunteers, because we do have to take them on board as if they're staff members. So there's training, there's all sorts that goes along with recruiting, and there's always a turnover of volunteers. So it's keeping those volunteers close to us, and a lot of our volunteers have been with us almost since the beginning, so it's lovely, and they do love doing it. So I don't know.
Well, we've started the one Saturday a month, which an idea around creating a space where we call it relaxed story rhymes, but we're just calling it Saturday story rhymes, where perhaps a parent could come along and support the other parent. They may be working during the week. Also, there's no booking for that, so the Saturday one is a little more relaxed, as children can come and go as they want. And so we have started that. As Joe said, we rely on the volunteers. So
we do. We just want to maintain the high standard, basically, of our service. So it'd be nice to keep that going, and just sort of encourage more families to come in and join the library and borrow books from the library. That's what we hope.
Yeah, because I suppose Story Rhymes is a reintroduction to adults to get them back into the library if they've had that gap. Because sometimes you go to school, go to the library, go to uni, go to the library, and then you may stop if you're not sort of into reading that much, and you forget how the library is an experience, and now you're introducing your child to that experience.
It is, and the kids love it. They do actually love it. And if the child sees that parent is enjoying reading, whether it's a magazine, a newspaper, a book, anything, then they're going to likely to want to do it as well. So the parent needs to make it a fun experience for them, and something that if the child sees them enjoying it, then that child's hopefully going to want to do it themselves. So that's a big part of where the core of Bookstart sort of teachings come from. We try and encourage that right from birth, and it doesn't have to be a book, it doesn't have to be a long book or anything. It can just be little snippets of anything, really. And if that child sees daddy reading the newspaper on a Sunday or something and he's enjoying that, then he's likely to want to do the same. So
the other exciting part I thought about Bookstart, not Bookstart, Story Rhymes, was when you had other community people come in. So I think you had, they've probably changed their name now, sort of speech therapists pop in once in a while, or the community nurse.
We occasionally have people coming in.
Which is quite interesting for speech and language, as you're preparing your child to go into reception or nursery, and they sort of say, oh, look, these are the things you can look out for. And coming to Story Rhymes, it kind of reinforces that you're encouraging language at a young age and speech and sound. So that's quite helpful, I thought.
It is. We do have other services coming in to promote what's going on in the city, with basically things like speech and language. And then they can signpost parents to, if they are struggling. We often do that anyway. We have people saying, oh, my child, especially around COVID times, so many children were behind with their speech for all sorts of reasons. And the speech and language therapists are desperately trying to catch up even now. But you could still promote and signpost those families to the speech and language in South End, because it just sort of gives them a bit of hope that they're not the only ones, during that time. But we did encourage during COVID. It was a fantastic time, wasn't it, really, story rhyme wise, because we held over 200 online sessions during COVID.
The Zoom session,
wow, which we absolutely loved. There was one every single day of the week, and we reached more families than we usually would, because families who would normally go to a particular branch story rhyme each week came online for everyone, each session during the week. And some of the families were on every single session of every day, because it gave them something to get up for, it gave them something to look forward to, and it gave the children that continuation of joining in the rhymes and still, singing along and trying to develop their speech and language. But it was a really great way to connect with the outside world, wasn't it, for some people?
Yes, definitely.
And we had so many lovely comments and so much fantastic feedback. Some of it made me cry, because it was just so emotional to just hear how we'd help the families, not just the speech and language, but just from the
getting out of the isolation.
It was fantastic. That it was a big thing for us over COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be able to carry on.
Yeah, and it was
And saying, when you're saying about community and letting people know, we do encourage our volunteers, and Joe and ourselves, we talk to the families afterwards. So we do signpost them, as you said, to different services that we've learned, Joe and I know are in connection with other services. So it's good to be able to say to a parent, this is what's on offer. Because Southend, we're very fortunate in Southend. I think we've got so much going for families to help them and support them. And coming to Story Rhymes, we've got leaflets on the table. We can impart some knowledge and just tell them what's out there for them. Because we're very fortunate. Lots going on.
Yes, they do have a lot going on, but I don't think we always know what's going on. It sort of takes you to go to one thing to be then prompted to know what
then
else is going on.
Families coming to us at Story Rhymes, we can help them with that, put them in touch with the right people.
Okay. A lot of families are coming in into the library now with a view to finding out about other services.
Yeah.
So particularly the Tamil community at the moment, we've had started off with one lady we met who was trying to find her daughter a nursery place, was struggling, so we were able to pinpoint her, put her into touch with the right people, and then she came along to Story Rhymes the next week with her sister, and then a friend, and then the auntie came, and we have a whole lovely community. They're absolutely amazing people, and one of the ladies encouraged the others to come along to find out about other services, so they are now accessing other services, which is fantastic through that. So they're using the library now, which is what we're here for as well. Not only to come to Story Rhymes every week, but to find out about other things that are going on and services they can use. So yeah, it's good.
So if you could sum up Story Rhymes and Bookstart in a few words and get people to come along, what would you say?
Fun.
Yeah. It's all about having fun. Yeah, we always our sort of little motto used to be, a book start is the best start in life, and it works because it's fun. So if you can make it fun, then that's the best start you can give to your children, is to spend a few minutes every day. It doesn't have to be a long time, just a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, sitting with a child, looking at a book. You don't have to be reading, you can be talking about the pictures, just getting interactions from your babies, those first sort of communications or first babbling words. You realise that you're having a conversation with your child, and it's learning how to communicate, have a conversation.
Yes.
And it's doing that right from the beginning.
Okay. And do you have any fun little stories you can share about anything that's happened in a little session that made you giggle and has stuck in your mind all this time?
One of our volunteers, I hope she doesn't mind me saying.
We don't have to mention names.
I won't mention names. No. This is my favourite. She was doing her online Zoom during COVID. There's lots during COVID, actually. And she was dressed up as a Spanish dancer. Oh. It was during World Book Day. And the window cleaner came to the door to come and get his payment. And he saw her and she waved, but then realised he was going away. So she ran down the road, told everyone, just wait, everybody, please. And she ran down the road with her World Book Day outfit for the whole street to see. So fun times.
It was fun times.
But yeah, I can imagine, I suppose the Zoom sessions gave you a little sneak peek into people's lives as well.
Definitely.
So you had this little window of a little peek into their home life, which must have been quite...
And their washing baskets.
And hiding the washing baskets, keeping the dogs quiet.
Yeah.
There was almost something every day, wasn't there?
Yeah,
I think most of our funny experiences happened during COVID.
Yeah.
So I had the same thing. I was singing away, and I forgot the tune to Down in the Jungle, so I pretended the postman was at the door, and I disappeared for a few minutes, composed myself, and then came back. And then another time I was singing a song when I'd moved house partway through, and I'm singing Wind the Bobbin Up, point to the window, point to the door, and I'm pointing in all the wrong directions, and everybody's laughing, and I just say, well, I've all moved. So it was just a lovely time to connect and have a bit of fun with your audience, basically. It was funny, wasn't it? But I can't think of any other stories that...
There was one childminder who had come, and the little boy, we were talking about, I think the story was about love, about the fish kissing, and he turned round to his childminder and said, I love you.
Oh,
I know, and that was just so beautiful, and yeah.
There's a lot of those sort of moments, isn't there? Some lovely moments.
And when they do the first time they're clapping, or the first time when they're crawling or walking, we sometimes are in the middle of a session, and the mum or the dad or the carer is trying to get your attention to kind of, that's the first time they're clapping. Or the first time
we get that a lot, actually. The first time they're twinkling, twinkle, twinkle, little star. The first time that's a common one, actually, the twinkling.
Yeah.
And then if they don't join in with a session. They may come, might be a shy child, comes session after session after session and sticks with the parents close to their knees and doesn't want to join in, just looks up every now and again. And then the first song they will join in with is always Sleeping Bunnies. And they're down there on the floor, they're watching the other children, and they're desperate. Aren't they desperate to join in? And that's usually the first one they'll do. And it's just so lovely because we've been watching them for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're gradually seeing those tiny little developments, Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah, just amazing.
We had one family that were moved abroad, and when they came back, one of the first things that the kids wanted to do was come in and say hello. So that just shows sort of the short time that they're with us, for a few years that they're with us, the impact that we can have on their development, but also just them realizing it's a fun place to come to the library on holiday, but they wanted to come back and say hello. So
and they get so attached to you both. So my two knew who you were, and they knew that we were going to sing. And my son didn't sing all the time in the sessions. As soon as we left, he'll be singing the song.
Oh, that's quite a common thing.
I would be like, we've just sat for like 30 minutes and you didn't join in. What's happening? But it made me realize that although he may not want to partake at the
he's
time,
taking it all in.
We
We have that, so many parents say that, and they get a bit disappointed that their child won't do the actions and won't show you what they're doing in the session. Yet when they go away, they will do it. And we say to them every time, it doesn't matter. They've taken it all in. And people during COVID, the kids would be running around. They might have their screen, screensaver up or whatever, where you've only got a picture of, and you can't actually see them in their pajamas or whatever they were doing at the time. And they would say, oh, the kids are running around, but they're taking it all in, because when they came back to the live sessions, that's when you realise that they have learnt it all over that time, because they're then joining in all the sessions.
Absolutely.
And singing all the songs and doing all the actions, which
and
is
counting.
just amazing.
I have to throw that. The
yes,
counting is amazing, because you teach them through these songs to count forwards and backwards, to subtract and to add. And like when they go to nursery, you can see the kids who have possibly done story rhymes, because they find that really easy to add the numbers and take them away. So it's
a big thing, and people think it's all about literacy and reading, but it's not. It's the whole
the whole
of those pre-learning skills as well.
And again, for social development as well, being able to sit in a group or be in a group setting, which prepares them so well for going into nursery.
Listening skills,
and
learning to take instruction is a big thing. Which is why we do action songs. So we're getting them to follow us by tapping on your hand, waving your shakers in the air, and doing those slowly to get the children to follow instruction. And that's such an important thing before they start school. So, and also pre-reading skills. So, for example, learning how to turn the pages of a book. So, I learned that right from early on. My daughter was 6 months old when I got her first book. I feel ashamed now knowing what I do, that we didn't start at a few weeks old. But she got her first book when she was 6 months old, and it had just pictures of there's a boiled egg, there was a tomato, there was some peas and various things on each page. And every time her dad got to the page with the peas, she'd just dissolve into fits of giggles. So each week each day he looked at the book with her, she was desperately trying to turn the pages to get to the peas. And she learnt how to grab the page and turn the page at that age. And they need to be able to do that before they can go to school. They need to be able to know that, for example, I don't know, a book, text in Arabic runs from right to left and not left to right, and the way that different texts run, and they need to learn all these things before they can even begin to read. So these are all important things that.
And I think what you're saying about
we're encouraging
that doesn't always have to have text. So if the parents' literacy skills aren't as high as some others, that if they struggle maybe with reading, there's that barrier. And what we say is that you can look at the pictures and create your own story.
Talk about the pictures.
And just use you can read the short words in the sentence. It doesn't need to be the full sentence. Talk about it, and then when you're going out into you might be shopping, you can point out words as you're going along, and they'll match the picture to the word as well. So
it's constantly talking to your children. That's something we sort of advocate right from as early on as possible. So like out the supermarket, and just tell them what you're doing. It doesn't matter what it is, what you're doing. You'd be walking along the wall and walking along the street, and you're pointing out that there's a wall, or there's some pretty flowers, or there's a tree, or there's a dog. Just constantly talking to your children.
It is that constant it's to build language, isn't it?
It's language, and it's learning nouns. If they don't know nouns, they're not going to be able to know much. They need to know what a door is, what a cup is, and just repeat those words back to them each time. So if a child gets it wrong and says, I don't know, my tup or something, you don't just say, no, that's wrong. You would repeat the word correctly. So they gradually learn the correct word, and they're learning the nouns. So the nouns are all important to just learn what everything is. So that's why when you're out and about, just pointing things out and talking to them constantly, which is where in the olden days the pushchairs that were facing you were great, because you could chat to your child the whole time. When the pushchairs are facing the other way, that was a big bugbear of my old boss, was front facing buggies. People don't talk to their children so much when they're pushing them around a lot of the time.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It's a very tricky one.
Because you do want that engagement, but they also need to see the outside.
They need to see things as well, yeah.
So it's that balance, I suppose.
It is. It's very difficult. Yeah, very, very difficult. But and also they may not always appear to be listening. You could be out and about and they're just facing forward, chatting, looking around, but if you're telling them what things are and just chatting to them the whole time, they'll be taking some of that in. So it's all about just talking constantly to your children. But yeah, most of all, I think our thing is take time out every single day just to have a cuddle and share a book.
Oh, it seems like a lovely place for us to end our little conversation. Thank you so much for taking part in our podcast, and thank you for encouraging parents as you do. I know sometimes we don't realise how important 30 minutes once a week is, but it is vital, and it really does help our children develop and give them the small building blocks they need for furthering their education in life.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode, and we truly appreciate you listening. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, subscribe, and follow to stay updated on future episodes. We look forward to seeing you next week.